is trying to bring them back. The not-for-profit program called Youth Off the Streets is providing targeted support for students who have stopped going to class. For Zoe, feeling safe at school has transformed her life. Her attendance is up 80% as a result.
It's helped me reconnect back into society and to talk to others for the first time in a while. They tend to care a lot more and pay attention if something's wrong or if something's happened to you. Whereas in mainstream school, they don't really tend to have that same attention towards each individual student.
For more, we're now joined by Amy Gill, the program's lead teacher. Good afternoon and welcome to you. Amy is among a group of students who've been very brave to talk about the problems they encountered with home learning. When did it become clear to them and to you that some students were basically dropping out of school?
Thanks, Kristen. I found, as did many of my colleagues, that there was a small percentage of students who were defined as school refusers that really flourished during remote learning. That was because of their increased sense of safety at home, where the fight or flight response that frequently happens for our young people with trauma in the classroom was minimalised and they were able to focus on their learning.
And so how were you able to tap into their enthusiasm to reconnect with school?
So over the last 6 months, we've been piloting a program at Youth Off the Streets called the SOLAR program. The students in the SOLAR program learn remotely for 2 days and face-to-face for 3 days. But this program is so much more than the flexible delivery. We teach students in a trauma-informed learning space with a unique project-based learning curriculum that focuses on the students' interests, goals and passions. Each student has an individualised learning program and wraparound support provided by highly trained and experienced staff, including teachers, psychologists and youth workers.
And so aside from attendance rates being higher for at least some students, tell us about the changes in the students themselves that you've noticed.
Well, Zoe's a great example. She's an exceptional kid. She came to us partway through term 1 and has had numerous barriers preventing her from getting to school. Last year, Zoe did not attend school and refused to really leave the house at all. However, despite this, we were able to form strong supportive connections with Zoe and her attendance in term 1 was above 70% despite the daily challenges. Zoe's family is now settled in accommodation a fair distance from school, but she travels on 3 trains to get to school for on-site learning. Through our program, she's had regular mental health support with her basic needs, and she has a mentor now as well. She's also doing a personal interest project at the moment where she's writing her first novel, and we've assisted her in accessing a writing course with the Australian Writing Centre. And Zoe's a prime example of what our kids can achieve and have achieved this year.
That is fantastic. Have you been able to reconnect with every student you were concerned about?
Look, some students are more challenging than others, just depending what is going on in their lives. But one thing that we do at Youth Off the Streets is we make sure that we never give up on these kids. Many other services say they're in the too hard basket and step away, but we're here for the long haul and we'll keep trying new and innovative ways to connect with them each and every day.
After the COVID lockdowns in New South Wales, Victoria and the ACT, do you expect that most schools are dealing with at least one school refuser?
100%. There's an increasing urgency around youth mental health in the country, with 1 in 5 young people likely to be affected by clinical depression by the age of 18. The prevalence of social anxiety in young Australians is on the rise, and that's been increased with the COVID situation that we're in. It also raises questions about the contribution schooling has made to this epidemic and the responsibility it has in providing solutions. And the SOLAR model is a solution to this.
Well, you've talked about the support that your students have. Do you think that all schools are putting in the support kids need after lockdown to ensure that their love of learning can remain?
I think that schools in general have for a very long time been a one-size-fits-all model. And I think instead of asking students to work to fit into how schools are working, we need to change the way we work to fit in with them and support them in getting to school. And this can be really challenging in a large school of, say, 1,000 plus students. And that's why we have specialist schools and alternative schools, such as those at Youth Off the Street. So we actually have 6 high schools across New South Wales catching that group of young people that aren't thriving at mainstream education.
And so for anyone watching, whether they be a student or whether they be a parent of a student who is struggling with school right now, what would you say they need to do as a first step?
I think that we need to approach schools and ask them to think about what we can take from the COVID experience. We're talking about the HSC this week and whether or not it's still relevant. I think the COVID experience has allowed us to make a change and make a change that is going to be effective for the mental health of our young people. So I encourage parents and students to talk to their schools and say, well, how can we support you in making a change to support our students?
Amy Gill from Youth Off the Streets, it's been great to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsten.